Yeah, of course. One Olympics game changed your life, but at first was when I was child. My dream was win the Olympic Games. So at the first I do or I live my dream. For second, yes, the life change in better, of course. Sometimes, all the people expect a lot from you. You have to win all the race after you won the Olympics, but we are human, not robot. So I try to do my best for in these years. But yeah, the life change in Italy. Of course, it was the first time ever one Italian athlete won the Olympic Games in 100 meter. So everyone know me. It was not easy go around the city or around the place or like a dinner with my wife. But yeah, the life changed, but of course in better.
And you did win the 4x100 meters as well, so it was an extraordinary summer for Italy.
Oh yeah. That year was incredible. We won 2 gold medals in 10 minutes because 10 minutes before me, the Gianmarco Tamberi won the high jump. So it was a great year for Italy, and the soccer team won the European Championship too. So it was a great year for Italy.
And Julien, we saw those scenes when you finally made it back to St. Lucia, where everybody knows your name. That must have been incredible for you.
It really was. The parade, the celebration back home, it was truly something that I'll remember for the rest of my life, just as, winning the Olympic gold medal. But, going back on Ireland was definitely life-changing for me, just to echo some of the things that Marcell, just said. Being on Ireland, being recognized, you just can't go anywhere just like that. Being escorted in different places, having somebody with me to just keep me safe as well. He also mentioned the pressure as well, so that came with it, just as, winning the Olympic gold, but definitely more positives than negatives.
And we've just met 2 of the women in the 3,000 metres yesterday, and they were saying finishing 4th in the World Indoors really rankled with them in Glasgow last year and set them up for a good summer. But you won in Glasgow, so it kind of set you up in a different way, didn't it?
Most definitely. I think I've spoken about that so many times last year, just hearing my story. But after World Indoors, I went into a really dark place where I just felt like there was just so much pressure on me to go out there and deliver every time I stepped on the track, which caused my coach to take me off the track to work on myself mentally and physically to prepare for the Olympic Games.
There's only 3 of you in the 300 metres yesterday, and one of them is your training partner. Who normally has the edge over distance between you and Dina Asher-Smith?
That's a great question. I mean, we're both great athletes, to be honest, and it's whoever wants it more on the day and whoever just executes the best. I can't really say who has the edge over each other.
Noah, we saw your journey on Netflix through to the Olympic Games, through Budapest. Was it just another step along the way, or was it the achievement of a dream for you?
A little bit of both. You can have your cake and eat it too, can't you? It was a dream come true. It's something something you dream about, all the time. You want to be the world's fastest man. I've said this for years. I've been 3-time world champion in the 200. Nobody wanted to say I was the world's fastest man. I win it in the 100 at Budapest. Okay, now I'm in the conversation. I finally win it in the Olympics. Okay, now I am the world's fastest man. And it's a crazy title. It holds a lot of weight, especially walking around. People will easily just notice me on the street a lot more than not. I don't think I have been outside where somebody hasn't recognized me in some capacity. And that's good and bad at the same time. I've had my fair share of stalkers recently, but at the same time, yeah, it's definitely been fun and exciting. But on the business side, a lot of doors have been opening, and I'm hoping to share a lot of big news soon.
We should mention that the men's 60 metres is named for Ralph Mann, who many people here will know as an Olympic medalist. But he was part of your team, wasn't he?
Yeah, have been working with Ralph since 2016. My coach Lance Brauman, he introduced me to him, and I remember the first time I met him, and he's saw my biomechanics when I ran at my first Olympic trials in 2016, and he was like, "Yeah, you got some good stuff." you're a little talented, but you got all these faults. And I'm just like, well, I'm gonna make sure that, you know, next time you see me, I'm gonna have nothing but great things. And he's like, yeah, we'll see about that. But every year he would come back and he'd be more and more impressed, and we would just, you know, keep working at it and fiddling away. And I remember right before I went to the Olympic Games, he came and saw me and we did our testing, and he said, this much is how much it's gonna take to win and be second. And I was like, I like those odds. Anytime those odds are placed on me, I'm usually the one in front.
I'm going to ask all three of you if you like the idea of doing rounds, over 60 metres, heats and then a final. And also, given that at least two of you come on strong in the second half of a race, whether when it's only 60 metres that puts more pressure on the start.
I like the 60 meters. I like it because I have to change my technique, and I need to improve for the first part of the race. I won one world championship in the 60. I have the European record, so I like it. And this year I decided to do it because the season will be really long. The world championship is in the middle of September, so I need to compete. I'm not training for training, I'm training for compete. So I need to understand how the training going. And so I'm really excited to be here. I need to run 2 times because the first one we need to break the ice.
Yeah.
And yeah, but I'm here already.
Julien.
I love the 60, one of my favorite events. I won't be running it this year at all, unfortunately, just focusing on just getting stronger. But before I used to put so much pressure on myself to win by 60 meters, but I realized it's not just the 60, so full 100 meters. But I mean, just this year, I'm just really focusing on, like I said, getting stronger. And unfortunately, I won't be running it this year.
Did you find it hard to get back into training after the post-season celebrations and the highs of the summer?
No, actually. I was looking forward to getting back to training because I finally had a chance to sit and relax and just think of what I'd done during the season. I had a good vacation, and I was really looking forward to, you know, getting back, just seeing what I did during the year.
And Noah, I think you're looking for 4 in a row at this meeting over 60, or you're certainly the defending champion.
Yeah, 4 in a row.
And your start has improved a lot over the years, hasn't
it? It definitely has. Start, transition, acceleration has all improved, and usually this is where I see the fruit of my labor from, you know, the conditioning season to the very early parts of the year. And it definitely gives a confidence booster. You know, I think I was on TikTok a few days ago and I saw somebody did my whole 60 journey, and I was like, yep, 6'6", 6'6", 6'6", 6. Oh, there's a 6'5", and then here comes the 6'5" low, and then the 6'4", and I was like, wow, yeah, if you looked at me from years ago, you definitely wouldn't have expected me to be in this position in the 60.
Julien's doing the 300. Will we ever see you doing 300 indoors?
I was just talking to Rye about the last time I ran the 300 meters, my first year pro, and I broke the world record. And I haven't touched it since. So eventually one of these days I would like to get back to it.
While you had tested positive for COVID-19, and I was wondering what tips or advice would you have for the younger generations of athletes on perseverance?
Oh, this might be a longer answer. I'll try to make it pretty quick though. I think perseverance is something that you have to constantly work at. It's not something that you just gain overnight. It's definitely a moment where you have to look at something extremely uncomfortable and say, even though I'm uncomfortable, I'm going to continue to move forward, not knowing the outcome. So it takes a lot of faith, a lot of belief in something that might not be there, but what you will turn into, you know, you will create the outcome, no matter if you fail or if you succeed. And if it does come true, great, keep moving forward. If it doesn't, the important part is knowing that you're going to get back up and you're going to try again, because you never fail until you completely stop.
Into a really dark place after World Indoors. How do you deal with that to get into a healthier mindset for races?
I leaned on my support system, my coach, my agent, those around me. Going to therapy really helped me, and just realizing, you know, why I'm doing the sport, why I'm running. I placed so much pressure on myself, feeling like I have to go out there and run for my country and they're depending on me. And then I had to realize that I'm doing it for myself. I'm the one stepping on the track every day, putting in the work to get it done and to accomplish everything that I want to. So I just had to lean on my support system, go to therapy, and that allowed me to just get out of the dark place slowly but surely.
I hate school. It wouldn't have changed anything. I do want to hear the question from that young lady trying to sit down now, though.
Hi, I'm India from Holland Tech, and my question was, what dietary actions do you take before an event, like an Olympic event, for all three of you?
Ooh, dietary. I have hired so like food, nutrition. So at home, I hired a chef about 3 years ago, and he works with my nutritionist, and they come up with the whole meal plan for the year. This year, we've been leaning into omega fatty acids. I've been lifting a lot of weight, and I felt like I haven't been getting enough, basically good fats. So we decided we're gonna start eating more deep sea fish and try to get it that way. So it's like, okay, cool. Now, when I'm here at a track meet, you're at the whim of whatever is here. So that kind of gets thrown out the window. But the good thing is you build up a strong base before you get here. So it's kind of hard for your diet to be completely ruined just by 3 days of eating whatever is at the track meet.
I am not as structured as Noah whatsoever. I just do whatever. I think I'm disciplined enough to know what to eat or what not to eat. Most times I just lean into like fish, some carbs like rice, potatoes, some veggies thereabout. But I think I don't do what you do, Noah. So I'm not that structured.
It's not that crazy. Like, I'm still eating normal foods. It's just making sure I'm getting the right amount of each. So you just might have like more greens than you would carbs, and then protein would be the second most thing.
Okay.
It sounds complicated. It's not. It's really not.
Exactly, it's complicated.
It's not. It's not. It's not. It sounds complicated.
I mean, I know myself not. I'm disciplined enough to know not to eat fries if I compete, but I don't have anything. You know what? But I mean, I'm disciplined enough to just know what to eat and what not to eat. So yeah.
Let's come to Mr. Pizza, Pasta, Red Wine.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
I'm not a good example for that because I love meat. And yeah, I don't have a chef in my house. My wife is my chef, so she cook with love. So I love their food. But yeah, the last year in US for me was really difficult because I like burgers, fries, and so yeah. So for me it was really difficult. Try to stay focused and eat just in my house. But yeah, I know what I have to do, what I have to eat, what I don't have to eat. So I try to equilibrate my meal every time, my breakfast, my snacks, and so I try to be good. But sometimes I eat a lot of burgers or fries.
Like you're saying burgers.
Burgers. Yeah.
Okay, we've got time for one more question. I'm just checking, are your co-hosts in the room? No.
I'm sorry?
Your podcast co-hosts, are they in the room? Okay. One more question. Who wants it? Yeah. Can I see? Right at the back there. Sorry, behind the pillar for me.
Charles from Holland Tech. My question is, how do y'all mentally prepare for Olympic events?
You know, like I said, depending on my support system and just speaking with my sports therapist, my sports psychologist, and just doing a lot of visualizations in preparation for my event. Nothing too serious.
Yeah.
I start to work with my mental coach the year before Olympic Games in Tokyo. It's not just a work for track and field, but it's work for life, for change the modality to think and do it the things. So I work really hard, not just with my body, but with my mind too. I think it's really important, and yeah, this.
I have two therapists, one for everyday life and then one for sports. In terms of the Olympics, yeah, that Olympic trip was rough, I'm not gonna lie. Especially because Sprint had just come out. So in the village, I was kind of already extremely popular. So I couldn't leave my room in the village without being stopped at least like 50 times before even making it to the cafeteria. I constantly tried to eat alone just so that I could have peace and quiet. It was rough. It was rough, and that had to go a lot into, you know, trying to find as much solitude and bringing in my circle as close as possible, because, you know, I had a job and I knew that I could, you know, obtain this, you know, winning the Olympic championships. So, you know, explaining that to my therapist and saying, hey, this is what I'm dealing with, you know, how should we go about, you know, thinking about this as we get closer and closer to the day. And on the day, it all came down to having a childlike energy, you know, an excitement energy. You know, I'm not here to do a job, I'm here to fulfill a dream. And having that ideal throughout the finals truly was, I think, what kind of turned over my mental state from the semifinals to the finals. Going from, I have to win, to, this is the greatest moment that I could ever imagine, and I can't believe I get to be here and actually run this race.